Thinking about moving to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina? Well, let's break down the good, the bad, and the expensive in one of Charleston's most impressive and popular suburbs. Let's go. All right, guys, welcome to the pros and cons of living in Mount Pleasant. So now, the first pro right out of the gate, as you can tell, is the proximity to the beaches and the water. Look at that behind me. It only took me 11 minutes to get here, so we are relatively close to the beaches and the waters. I'm at Isle of Palms today. You can see the boardwalk behind me and the ocean back there. And again, that's one of the best parts about living here is you're only 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what part of Mount Pleasant you are living in. And so if you're one of those people that just needs a quick little getaway to the beaches, maybe it's not a vacation, but you're just trying to get out of the house and get to the beach just to have that little bit of sun and shine and a little bit of time in the water, well, you can do it right here at Isle of Palms. And you're also not too far away from beaches like Folly Beach. Folly Beach is another great beach to spend some time at. You're really close to Sullivan's Island. So there's a lot of great options when it comes to moving to Mount Pleasant for beaches. Second pro is being close to downtown. That's right. Right behind me is the Ravenel Bridge. And if you live in Mount Pleasant, you will use this bridge quite frequently, especially if you're going to be going into downtown Charleston, Folly Beach, James Island, Johns Island, doesn't matter, you'll use this bridge. That all being said, is your proximity to downtown Charleston. It's great for commuters. I mean, if you're someone who's got to commute to work, this bridge will get you over there relatively quickly. And then also, if you're somebody who enjoys the nightlife scene of downtown Charleston, well, let me tell you, if you're living in Mount Pleasant and you want to get downtown, again, at night, 15 minutes, you're there, no problem. But there's a lot of great nightlife right in Mount Pleasant. And we'll talk about that here in just a bit, so don't go anywhere. Pro number 3 of living in Mount Pleasant, and it is beautiful master plan communities. Yes, pro number 3 is all of the beautiful master plan communities. You have everything from Ion to Dunes West to Park West and even Carolina Park, which I'm in right now. This is a beautiful community. It's a little bit of a more newer construction community, but you can see they have all of the modern amenities that you'd want. They've got their pool over there. They've got a clubhouse. They've got pickleball courts, tennis courts. I'm on their walking trail right now. I mean, if you're looking for outdoor things to do and you only want to live 15 minutes from the beach, this neighborhood and these neighborhoods in Mount Pleasant check boxes for you. Not to mention, if you got furry little ones, and this is a big bonus to living here, they've got dog parks set up for your dogs and for your little furry ones. So if you're somebody that's like, hey, we don't have kids, but we've got dogs, well, they've got a great dog park right here. So again, open field park for, again, throwing footballs. If you wanna fly a kite with your kids. Heck, if you just want to fly a kite by yourself, you don't even have to be a kid to fly a kite. You can do it yourself. But what I'm saying is these master plan communities in Mount Pleasant are worth their weight in gold. The lifestyles are fantastic. They've got food truck rodeos. They've got events every weekend. The Facebook groups are jam-packed with different subgroups for people who like to play pickleball. Maybe you're a car collector. Maybe you're somebody that's into classic cars. They have groups for everyone in these neighborhoods. So yes, my pro number 3 is these master plan communities, because I gotta tell you, as Mount Pleasant continues to grow, they're not really putting in more big communities. So these big communities, these are gonna be it for quite a long time. And I gotta tell you, Carolina Park, Dunes West, Park West, Brickyard, Sneef Farms, they're all on my favorite list. I mean, all of these neighborhoods definitely check a lifestyle box that I think most of you are looking for. But more importantly, like I said in my other pro, the networking that you can do when you're connecting with people who live in these areas and have similar common interests as you do, then you are going to do amazing here. You're going to love the lifestyle. So Number 3 on the list is these master plan communities. You gotta love it. And one of the best parts is, and this is just a little asterisk, when my clients reach out to me and they say, Ryan, are there any great properties that you have coming up? Yeah, there's coming soon properties in these neighborhoods. And the reason they have coming soon is because these neighborhoods are so hot that people will be fighting tooth and nail to get in. If we can find you a great coming soon listing, we can hit the nail right on the head and get you in before anybody else. That's why you got to reach out. All right, moving on to our next pro. Pro number 4, shopping and dining scene in Mount Pleasant. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I gotta tell you, like right now, I'm at the Mount Pleasant Town Shopping Center. You've got some great stores in here for shopping purposes. You also have some great restaurants nearby. It's really set up kind of much like an outdoor shopping mall would be. But that's one of the key benefits of the things I absolutely love about Mount Pleasant is just the aesthetics. I keep bringing that up because it's pretty amazing here. From all the architectural design to the way they lay out their shopping centers, everything is really cool. And the food scene is pretty amazing without having to cross the Ravenel Bridge to get into downtown Charleston. You can still shop, eat, and dine all right here in Mount Pleasant. Now, one of the big things people always ask me, well, Brian, isn't it more expensive in Mount Pleasant for a lot of the same stuff you can get in other places? And not really. The prices are pretty comparative. Some things are gonna feel a little bit more expensive, like gas, house prices, stuff like that. But your regular stores like your Pandora, your Loft, your Victoria's Secret, Half Moon, Palmetto, I mean, all of them, they all have kind of the similar pricing no matter what part of Charleston they're in. Now, one of the other things I don't know if you can see behind me that we didn't talk about was movie theaters and places like that. So you're packed with theaters, event spaces. It doesn't really matter. When it comes to Mount Pleasant, everything is here and you don't need to go too far from it. Most things are 15 minutes away. I've been just trying to GPS around all day today and everything's been like 13 to 15 minutes, which is pretty fantastic. The other thing I'll mention is that the restaurant scene here is absolutely incredible. You've got a ton of restaurants nearby, but not only that, you've got restaurants that are right here in the heart of Mount Pleasant. So you can really get a variety of different things. They've got a pizza place up here, a steakhouse nearby, Mexican, you name it, Greek. And it's all like right here. So, I mean, if you're somebody that's looking for convenience, that's what Mount Pleasant offers you. And that's why the prices are the prices, is because you're paying for that convenience. You're paying for that, a little bit of rodeo feel lifestyle. It just gives that little bit of a different feel and look to the rest of Charleston. Like when you compare Charleston and all the other suburbs, you can't really compare anything and say, oh, this is exactly what Mount Pleasant feels like. There's no other place that makes you feel like Mount Pleasant feels like. And you might be saying to me, well, Ryan, that's comparative, that's personal. Some people feel that way, some people won't, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty nice. And I have a lot of people who I make these comments to, and they feel the same way. So let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Go ahead and leave me some love, and let's move on to our next pro. Pro number 5. Yes, and this is a big one. This is a big one for a lot of people. This is a big one for me, is schools, top rated schools. Yes, Mount Pleasant year over year over year constantly gets rated with top rated schools. And I mean, some of the best in the state. And you guys can do your own due diligence, look it up. I'm not telling you anything you can't find out online. Google it. And it is pretty amazing. I have clients who are like, Ryan, we only want to live in Mount Pleasant for those schools. So that's why I will help you, kind of guide you through that process. You have everything from Philip Simmons here. You got Kane Hoy. There's so many really great schools. I can't even list them all, but one of the big things that I do have a conversation with a lot of my clients about is the fact that, some people say to me, hey, we only want 9 and 10 schools, nothing less. And so they say, hey, if we got to move into a neighborhood that, it starts at $1.5 million, then that's what we got to do to get those schools. So there's people that will extend their budget, or that's right in their wheelhouse. And so then we can connect you with those neighborhoods. Now, there are certain neighborhoods that are zoned for different schools, like Carolina Park. They have their own system. Look how beautiful that is behind me. Isn't that beautiful? This is a beautiful spot right here. So Carolina Park has their own schools. There's a technology school here in Mount Pleasant. So it just depends on what it is you're looking for your kids and your family. Some people reach out and say, do they have Montessori's? Yeah, we've got Catholic schools, we got them all. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone right here in Mount Pleasant. And then, you know, besides the schools, besides the top rated schools, you have top rated after school programs with kids. And so people always say to me, well, Ryan, what are some of the good programs? Jiu-jitsu. They've got some of the best jiu-jitsu schools. They got some of the best, you know, kids after program schools, Kids Strong, right here in Mount Pleasant. So, I mean, if you're looking for things for your family and your kids to do, then there is absolutely no shortage right here in Mount Pleasant. That was pro number 5. All right, moving on to pro number 6. All right, next pro on my list, number 6, is outdoor lifestyle. Now, it doesn't get much better than Mount Pleasant. I mean, we are only 5 minutes to the beach, right? Check that box. We are literally right on the water here. We've got all the different waterways. This is Shem Creek. You can see people kayaking, paddleboarding, canoeing. So the lifestyle is pretty awesome. Do you like boating? Check that box. Fishing? Check that box. I mean, really, it doesn't get much better than when you're considering an area like Mount Pleasant. I mean, for outdoor lifestyle, it's incredible. They've even got yoga out by the water. So many amazing things. One of the things I personally like to do is come down here to Shem Creek, the park over here. You can run this, you can walk this, you can actually do just like these folks are doing over here. Kayaking, canoeing, paddleboarding, lots of really great options. And it's, guys, you just park and you grab your stuff and you throw it in the water. I mean, there's not like this whole structured thing to it. You just kind of go, if you know people who already do it, get connected with them. There's a ton of groups right here in Mount Pleasant. There's different boating groups, there's different fishing groups. Heck, you like golfing. Oh my God, the golf courses. I just drove by a ton of golf courses. So you'll be able to do all of that when living here. Now, one of the other things that a lot of my clients talk to me about, and they say, Ryan, we want to do like a charter, like a deep sea fishing charter. Listen, guys, I can connect you. There's all of these companies right here that offer all of that. Even if you just want to come down here and walk and check out the beauty, sometimes I do. Just if I'm in the area and I'm like, hey, I just got done finished showing a house, helping these people relocate here, and take 20 minutes and just walk the boardwalk, get a little exercise in. Look how beautiful these boats are. And they have Sundance cruises. So if you're someone that likes to have go out on a cruise, maybe on a Saturday night, get a little rum punch, and boy, go out there and just look at the views. It's pretty amazing. So check that box for Mount Pleasant outdoor lifestyle. All right, guys, pro number 7, we are moving on. Pro number 7 of moving to Mount Pleasant is the medical care. Yes, medical care here is fantastic. You have the Roper St. Francis group. They have a hospital right there in Mount Pleasant, so you can check that out. And then you also have the East Cooper Medical Center as well. So both are right here in Mount Pleasant. So if you're someone that's concerned, like, hey, where am I gonna go see my doctors? Where am I gonna go get surgery done if I need it? Well, fantastic news is you have it right here in Mount Pleasant. Check out some of these waterfront houses. Aren't these beautiful? Goals, right, folks? Goals, but not for you. If you're watching this video and you're looking to move to this area, I gotta tell you, this is a fantastic spot right here on Shem Creek. All the fishing in the world you want. So this gentleman's out here doing behind me. And this is a good spot for it. You can actually come down here, walk. You can see manatee. You can see dolphins down here. I don't see any today, but you'll see the occasional kayaker, canoeer, paddleboarder. They all come down here. So it's just a fun area to come walk. But yes, medical healthcare is fantastic. So if you're someone that's pro for you, they got it. All right, guys, bringing me to my final pro number 8. We are here in Ion, right in Mount Pleasant, in the heart of Mount Pleasant. And one of the reason I picked this neighborhood for pro number 8 is because it has a very affluent community and professional network. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, affluency, you know, if you're somebody who's affluent, you have a good amount of money. And so there are a lot of people who live here in Mount Pleasant who have a good amount of money. And one of the big benefits is they all generally kind of congregate together. They create professional networks. They generally live in these beautiful houses like that are right behind me. But a lot of them tend to stick together. And if you're someone who believes in the law of attraction, like, hey, if there's 4 millionaires in a room, if I'm the 5th guy in that room, I'm probably going to be the 5th millionaire. If that's what you believe, then I'll tell you what, Mount Pleasant is a great place to be. And that's why it's on my pro list. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make more money and be more successful. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think a lot of people who are looking for that Mount Pleasant lifestyle are also yearning for that kind of lifestyle, that kind of more professional. Hey, I don't want to sit in a room and talk to a bunch of guys and all we're talking about is sports and are you watching the game? What are you cooking for the game? What are you bringing to drink for the game? You know, for these people, it's business, it's lifestyle, it's free time, you know. Hey, how hard do I need to work to gather me enough free time to go on my family vacations, to go on cruises and things like that? So when you look to people who are living in Mount Pleasant, they're a little bit more affluent. And I think that's a big pro because they're the folks that know how to get stuff done and be successful about it. So when you're thinking of like places to live in Mount Pleasant, I would want to live where a lot of the professionals live. And so this neighborhood is Ion. This is one of them. It's a beautiful neighborhood. You've got waterways throughout. It feels like an old style of Italy. It has a very old charm to it. And that's one of the things I really like about Mount Pleasant. They take visual aesthetics to the next level. I mean, the way they design these neighborhoods, the way they lay these homes out, even from like some of these homes have exterior concrete, some are made with hardy plank, some are built with stucco. There's a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places. Instead of everything being so cookie cutter, you drive through any town in America now and it's like, oh, okay, that's a Lennar community, that's a D.R. Horton community. You can tell the difference. And so, you know, with these neighborhoods, the way these neighborhoods look, they feel a lot less of that cookie cutter and more of that custom lifestyle that you might be looking for. And that's the thing that I'll help you with. A lot of my clients reach out to me, which my phone number I'll put below, 843-226-5535. You can reach out to me too. Ask me questions about these neighborhoods. People, you know, we get into some good conversation by helping people discover that this is where they want to be versus, you know, Carolina Park or Dunes West or one of those other neighborhoods in Mount Pleasant. We'll start having that dialogue and that kind of conversation to help you determine if this is going to be the right area for you. So don't hesitate to reach out days, nights, weekends, holidays. I got your back when it comes to moving to Mount Pleasant. So let's move on and talk about the cons, because not everything is perfect. Let's go. Hey guys, I don't mean to interrupt this pros and cons video, but I just wanted to ask you real quick, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you're enjoying everything I've been talking about thus far and you want to see more content like this, me out and about, then do me a favor and make sure you hit that notification bell and let me know in the comments. It helps me with the algorithm and letting me know what you guys are looking for on future videos. All right, back to the vlog tour. Well, it's not all perfect in Mount Pleasant. And what do I mean by that? Well, there are some cons to living in Mount Pleasant. So let's dive into some cons. Our first con is the high cost of living. So for a lot of people, and trust me, I talked to many of you, and you're like, Ryan, we want to move to Mount Pleasant for the schools and the location, the proximity to the beach. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand that. But, you know, real estate is expensive here. I mean, you're talking, you know, your regular 3, maybe 4 bedroom house starting at $700,000, and that's probably going to need some work. That's probably going to need some updating. And that's just for your average single family. Again, we're not talking in any of these special communities or anything like that. And then let's talk about groceries, restaurants. Things are just a little bit more expensive here. And that's where you're going to have to just kind of get used to it. So the house prices are a little bit more pricey. The groceries are a little bit more pricey. The activities, just a little bit more pricey. Worth it if you like this lifestyle. If you like being onto the water, and I'm getting bit alive. Like, I just got bit by something, and that's another con, is we are closer to the water. I'm in a park where I'm near marshland, and so I'm getting eaten alive by the bugs. So there's another con. We'll add that to the list. So we don't even need to give that con a number. We just know that's a con. So rolling through, con of, hey, pricing, real estate is expensive, but you also have bugs. So add that to the list. Oh my God, I can't believe how bad that hurt. Oh my God, it bit me like really hard. And then it's really cool too, is a lot of these parks have these little play areas for the kids. I don't usually like showing play areas with kids in them. I don't want to get their faces on camera for respect for the parents. So, but yeah. So again, con, you know, it's just the high cost of living. Everything feels a little bit pricier. So you're just going to have to deal with that. All right, let's move on. Okay, guys. So relatively speaking, the traffic here is pretty bad. And that's another con. You know, that's for a lot of people. If you're living in downtown Mount Pleasant, let's say, or if you're living in Mount Pleasant and you want to get to downtown, you know, traffic could be 20 minutes. But as you can see today, traffic isn't actually that bad. And if this is the traffic that people are talking about, then I got news for you. Put it on the pros list because it's not that bad. But today I understand it does seem a little light. I will say that, but generally speaking, it is a con here because on certain holidays, weeks or specific things that might be going on, specific weekends, we might have different events or food festivals, food truck rodeos, whatever it may be. And yes, you are going to notice quite a bit of traffic. As we go over the Ravenel Bridge right now, I like to point out that, you know, generally speaking, this is hard to even change lanes. Right now, I can change lanes, no problem, without any issues. And yeah, so I don't know. I really can't say that this is awful, but on the roads like 17, going into Mount Pleasant, that's where you start to see a lot of the congestion. I thought we'd actually see more congestion, being that we are currently going over the Ravenel Bridge, and it's usually always busy. It's generally always a hotbed for traffic. So now we are going on to 17 North, and this is where I think we're going to start to see some slowdown. So when you're living in Mount Pleasant, there are a lot of roads that come off of 17, 41, and it can be somewhat exhausting just going to do simple tasks. So again, I'm going to keep traffic on the cons list. All right, guys, I am here in Carolina Park. We are talking about con number 3, overdevelopment. So one of the big things that is happening in Mount Pleasant is there is just an absolute ton of development. As you can see, anywhere where there's still some trees left, they have, you know, buy this lot signs. This is now available signs. They just put in a Jeep dealership across the way. They've got a brand new Costco over here. So what's starting to happen is people are starting to say, hey, you know, they're starting to just throw these like buildings up like nothing. And they're just putting them up, no aesthetic design, nothing like that. And they're just cramming these stores in there, 1,500, 1,600 square feet. So there is a little bit of an overdevelopment issue. That's why the county, the town actually put a moratorium on the building that they can do. Everything from house builders to commercial, and hopefully that slows it down a little bit. But I got to tell you that that's probably one of the cons that some of the people, the locals, have complained about in recent years, is just all these buildings getting thrown up and they're just kind of, nah. You know, it's not like they really went through the developing process, the master plan community look. They were just like, listen, we got a community going in, we got to throw some stores up. Let's throw a couple of these tin buildings up and then cram them full of residents and commercial businesses. So that's what you're kind of seeing right now. It's unfortunate that like spots like this with trees have to come down, but that's what we're seeing. Again, con number 3. All right, let's move on and talk about con number 4. All right, guys, moving on to con number 4. So the loss of the small town feel. So this is the one where people who have been here 10, 20 years, they can vouch for this. They'll say, Ryan, it doesn't feel the same way it did years ago. It's more crowded. There's more big stores, more chains. It doesn't have that small town feel that it once had. And I totally can understand where they're coming from. For folks who are just moving here, who are just relocating here, and we're talking to folks who are coming from California, New York, Pennsylvania, Utah, Nevada, it doesn't matter. They all feel like this is a great spot. It still has that small town charm. And I can totally understand, because they don't know what else, they don't know what it was like 10, 20 years ago. So the traffic to them is just traffic. It is what it is. But I can tell you this, it has changed quite a bit. And I do get that that is a con for a lot of the residents that live here. So I will mark that down as a con. You let me know what you think in the comments. Like right now, look at this. Definitely not supposed to have a motorized scooter on the boardwalk. It's called a boardwalk. You walk, not scooter. I don't know. Yeah, so maybe that's what they're talking about. Maybe losing that small town feel. People are doing more stupid stuff like that. And honestly, that was perfect timing. I didn't pay that kid anything. He just blew through here, and it was like, yeah, okay, well, that's the definition of losing that small town feel, is when you're on a boardwalk and you got to move over because you got a motorbiker coming through. Even though I didn't really hear an engine, could have been one of those electric ones, but still, not supposed to have any vehicles on the boardwalk. It says it right on the sign. All right, guys, con number 5. And this one really stinks. So this is the one that frustrates me pretty much whenever we go to Mount Pleasant, Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palms. Parking is always an issue, and it's even getting more now. It's getting worse now with as many people that are living here. I mean, when you go to the beaches, it's almost impossible to find parking. They have compact car parking spaces, electric car spaces. But if you've got a big SUV, good luck. Now, today I was pretty lucky because today's a Wednesday. I was actually able to find a parking spot pretty close to the beach. But on a normal Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that just might not be the case. That might not be a reality. So again, con is the parking. And 2, if you don't get a county parks pass and you want to park, it's $15 to $25 to park. So I highly recommend getting that county parks pass, because you're gonna go to the beach a lot when you move here, and that's a reality. And if you had to pay to park every time you came, that's gonna rack up. That is going to rack up. So get that gold pass, and you can park here in the county park parking lot for Brizzle. Well, not for free, you're paying for it, but over time, it'll free itself up. So again, con, the parking. All right, let's move on to our next con. All right, con number 6, hurricanes. So yes, hurricanes are a real thing here. I actually am getting some wind right now while I'm standing on the beach, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about hurricanes. It's a real thing. Sometimes if you're living in Mount Pleasant and they have a hurricane that's coming up the coast, they may actually pull a mandatory evacuation, which means you have to pack everything up, board up your doors and windows, and hope that you still have a home when you come back. Now, it's not every year. This isn't something that happens all the time, but it can happen. It can can happen once a year, could happen twice a year. You just never know. Mother Nature's funny that way. But everybody that I've talked to who's lived in Mount Pleasant for 8 to 10 years, they all said, you know, yeah, sure, we had to do it once, maybe twice, but it's not the end of the world. And it's just a little bit of preparation goes a long way. So yes, hurricanes are going to be a con that you will have to deal with if you're living here. Like I said, that's number 6 con. For a lot of people, it's not a big deal, but for some, it's the difference between moving here and not moving here, because people get worried about flood zones and things like that. There are flood zones in Mount Pleasant, but there are areas that are in an X-flood zone, which means you're not required to carry flood insurance, which means relatively low flooding and things like that. So again, if you're someone that's looking to be 10 minutes from the beach, because life is fantastic when you're this close to the beach. I'm smiling. I'm super happy. The sun's hitting me. I'm getting my vitamin D. And it's a great place to come and live and to have this in your backyard. I mean, 10, 15 minutes away, depending on what part of Mount Pleasant you live in, is incredible, guys. Just to get over here, maybe after work, maybe after a long day at the office, whatever it is, it's not going to be something you have to concern yourself too much with. So again, con number 6 is hurricanes. We do have them, but I think this is worth it. I think it's worth dealing with the hurricanes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. More importantly, let me know if you want help moving here. Ryan McHugh, your neighborhood expert, 843-226-5535. All right, let's go to our next con. All right, guys, number 7 on my list of cons. And this one, if you're somebody who is, you know, maybe in your 20s, maybe you're not 21 yet. Again, I'm not sure how many people are watching my videos that are under 21. But, you know, if you're somebody that's looking for a more dynamic, like nightclub, nightlife scene, Charleston may just not be, Mount Pleasant may just not be the right place for you. I mean, and let me explain. So where I'm at right now is I'm on Shem Creek. Behind me, you have Tavern and Table, you have Red's Ice House, you have Water's Edge, and then coming up, we have Vickery's and Saltwater Cowboys. So you have all these really great, cool bar restaurants, but really that's what they are. They're more bars, very few dance clubs. So I even know, like personally, like when my wife and I like to travel and we go on cruises or we go on vacation, we're always like, well, what's the nightlife like? Can we go out and dance? Can we go out and party and have a good time? That's just what we enjoy doing. And so if you're somebody that's like, hey, I'm looking for an area that's gonna have, you know, like a couple of nightclubs, and some places that we can go and meet like-minded people, especially in Mount Pleasant, because let's just admit, you know, Mount Pleasant has a certain particular type of people who like to go out and socialize, and whether you call yourselves influencers or whatever it may be, you do. And so if you're looking for a more nightclub, nightlife style, you may have to go into downtown Charleston and go to some of the more the bars that are down there. So again, that's just the big difference. But as you can see right over my shoulder here, this is Saltwater Cowboys, and they are packed. They are jam-packed right now. So they've got a good mix of people. And then over here at Vickery's, a little bit more quiet. So it's not as busy over on this side of things. So again, choose that, take that information however you want. I always tell people, this is one of my favorite areas. If you're somebody who likes to party and go out and have a good time, this would be a place I would come and check out on a Friday or Saturday night. I would get here a little bit before sunset, maybe grab a bite to eat, dinner, and then hang out for the party portion, because as you can see, people come in on their kayaks, canoes, boats, whatever have it, and they just come in, dock, and then party and have a good time. So that's not a con. The stuff for younger people to do, that's a con. So, all right, moving on. All right, guys, we've gotten to our final con number 8, and it's a big one. It's the one that could save you $80, $90, $100,000 off a home right here in Mount Pleasant. And that is not reaching out to me to make your move, because guys, you're leaving money on the table. I'm Ryan McHugh, your neighborhood expert. Bye from Rye. I help people relocate to Mount Pleasant all the time, and I can help you as well, get you a great deal. All you got to do is reach out. And if you guys love this neighborhood and love some of these neighborhoods you've seen today, go ahead and click this video right here to see more just like these.